La la la. Good morning, good afternoon, good morning. It's still morning. Morning and welcome back to the One Celtic Fans View. Ross County versus Celtic. Yes, it is game day. Ross County versus Celtic today, and I've got to say it's a little bit chilly up in Dingwall. Yes, it is a little bit chilly in Dingwall at the current moment. Just do this first of all. That's not what I want. Currently, it's -8 in Dingwall. So if you are heading up to Dingwall, no doubt you'll more than likely be just about there if you're not there already. I hope that you've wrapped up, because -8 sitting up there in Dingwall, well, standing. We all generally stand at away games, don't we? Anyway, -8. It's rather -8 than -15 though. Hey, good morning to Sam Max in the house, Sean Mahon's in the house, Mr. Quinn's in the house, Michelle's in the house. Got a chilly feeling the game may be called off. -7 up there just now. It's -8, Michelle. It's the weather thing's telling me it will get called off because of that. Celtic will put a picture out, and if it is the current state of play at Dingwall, the pitch looks fine. The pitch does look fine. It may be an old picture that they put out, but they did put this picture out 2 hours ago, so cloudy. That picture's cloudy when the weather right now, it's -8 and cloudy. Yeah, so it could have been taken this morning, the picture, and if it is, the pitch is fine. The pitch is fine. Ross County will have undersoil heating, so it'll keep the temperature of the pitch just above 0, so that it doesn't freeze over. So don't think the game will get called off, especially after Celtic. And if it was going to get called off, it would get called off way before now. Especially with Celtic fans travelling up in numbers. They do know there's a good couple of thousand Celtic fans travel up, and that's a lot of buses. I mean, you're talking around about, there must be at least 30 or 40 buses travel up to Dingwall, minimum, because that bus park outside the ground, I would say there'd be at least 50 buses, minimum of 50 buses. That's a lot of buses to turn away at the last minute if they're going to call the game off. So I don't think that they're going to call it. Gets to the dizzy heights of -3 around kick-off for Parkley. That's nothing. That's nothing. Absolutely nothing, especially in Scotland. Think about it. These Norwegian players that are coming over, -3 is nothing. They're used to it being -25 and everything in parts of Norway. There's parts of Norway that don't even see sunlight at this time of year. So coming to Celtic and the disco lights will be absolutely wonderful for the geezer when he comes over. It's never been that good for Odemone though. And I've got a feeling that the game may be called off, says Michelle. I don't think so. Let's hope not. Tam Max in the house, Glasgow Celts in the house, saying good morning everyone. Stephen Johnston, how are you today, mate? Hope you are good. Stephen Johnston is one of the amazing guys on the channel. Anyway, Luke McCowan. Luke McCowan says, I haven't even checked the audio, but it's okay. Luke McCowan says there's only one thing that he hears at Celtic Park, and it is not moaning and groaning from the fans. The only groaning he hears is from Brendan Rodgers. Yes, you might imagine when there's 60,000 people screaming at you, boo. We don't boo, so not this season anyway. It would be difficult to ignore, but when you're recycling the ball and you get groans from the stands, Luke McCowan doesn't hear it. There's only one voice he hears. And let's face it, if you've been to Celtic Park and you've heard Brendan Rodgers whistle, yep. Yeah, that's it. Just calm, dog, calm. It's just me. It's okay. I've just freaked the dog out by whistling Brendan Rodgers now. It was me. Jesus. Anyway, McCowan, growing up a Celtic fan, says that he knows the Celtic family all too well, and the emotional roller coaster that fans go on. Rodgers may have caused a little bit of a hurrah last week when he spoke about the fans singing a certain song for a certain player, and the Celtic fans the next game They just go, bugger it, we're going to sing every single Celtic song we know for every single Celtic player. And Brendan Rodgers saw the funny side of it. But Luke McCown, he said, look, there's only one noise I hear, and that's coming from the dugout. When I hear him barking orders at the side of the pitch, you're like, oh, fuck, hope he's not shouting at me. But then you listen to it, you go to other places and you hear fans shouting stuff, it just passes you by. It's like water off a duck's back. He said you need to block it out in the game. Players block it out, you don't really notice it or talk about it. If the manager sees it or notices it or speaks about it, it's fair enough. As players, you just block out the noise for the side of the pitch. If you're listening to every single thing, you'd end up doing an Eric Cantona and going flying into the into the terraces with your studs showing, going full on smack, WWE style, or is it WWF or whatever it is. But anyway, you could end up doing an Eric Cantona and just flying into the pitch, wouldn't you? My dad used to say he wouldn't watch derby matches when I played in them. He said the whole living room. He says, you know exactly the reaction that you're going to get. He says, you just don't watch derby matches with my dad. You block out the noise. You just try and perform, says Luke McCown. You perform and you try and get the result, because that is all that matters. Luke McCown, I reckon he will start today. But we'll soon find out, and roughly around about just over half an hour's time we'll get the team by Brendan Rodgers. Brendan Rodgers has got a little bit of manoeuvring to do with the team today, due to the fact there are quite a few players that didn't make the bus trip. Kyogo was one of them. Brendan Rodgers was asked about the hurrah that went on in America, and Brendan Rodgers' reply was, I didn't even know about it. It was actually one of the backroom staff that told me about it before we came in here. Knowing fine well the type of questions that Brendan Rodgers was going to be asked by the media, he made sure that the gaffer had all the information to hand, so that when he went into the media conference and they went, so the Americans said that Kyogo might be going there. News to me. If I don't know about it, it's not happening. That's what Brendan Rodgers should have said. But anyway, Lorna Gallagher's in the house. Lorna, are you still on holiday? Sean Short's in the house, and Davy Bell is in the house also. Pork Chop Express is in the house. Right, we've done the Luke McCown story. We can get rid of that. We spoke this morning about Celtic being linked with a £7 million player, a £7 million winger. And does that ultimately mean, when bringing in someone at £7 million, does it mean that Celtic know that Nico Kuhn could well be sold this summer? Nico Kuhn is arguably the biggest asset that we have at Celtic this season. Nico Kuhn's contribution to Celtic this season has been nothing short of phenomenal, considering the start that he had when he was brought in just over a year ago now. But the fact that he got his full pre-season and he's been performing absolutely fantastic. He wants to get into the German national team, and he's already caught the eyes of teams around Europe with his performances, not only in the Champions League, but for Celtic when it matters. Now, the fact that the manager knows that we are going to be short, you don't spend £7 million on a winger for him to sit on the bench. Ultimately, you know that the player will come in at this transfer window. So that is Brendan Rodgers just preparing Celtic and preparing the fans for life after Nico Kuhn? Tell me your thoughts in the comments about that one, because I think that it is planning ahead, and it is the way that this Celtic board tried to do things. They tried to do it and it didn't work too well, but ultimately if you're spending £7 million on a winger to come to Celtic, when you've got Daizen Maeda and Nico Kuhn that are a first team start every single game, it's I think there has to be the writing on the wall that Celtic will be looking to cash in on Nico Kuhn. And it's just the way it is. It is the way it is. I used to wear woolly tights, says Pork Chops Express. That's nice to know. It ain't happening, Baz. Every team comes in for a player, pure shite. Let us be, says Nick Gold. Big offers are ridiculous. Big offers that are ridiculous will need to be looked at. Yeah, talking about the one for Nico Kuhn, easily a 30 million at least, said Zhead. Will Nico Kuhn? I think Nico Kuhn. I mean, ultimately, he will be sold by Celtic, and I just think that it's I just wish that we could keep a team of real good players, real good talent together for a couple of seasons. Now, there's big news this morning with a man that's been mentioned many times with the Celtic job, and he didn't take over at Celtic, but he did take over at Manchester United after Alex Ferguson, and he's now back in the dugout at Everton. Yes, he is back in the dugout at Everton, and that's a bit of news that I never thought I'd hear us talking about, the fact that a certain manager is back in the dugout at Everton, and it just shows you. Go back to what you know. Will that be a success? And the reason we're talking about that is sometimes when managers and players go back, it doesn't work out the way that you think. Now, will Davy Moyes be a success at Everton? Will Kieran Tierney be a success coming back to Celtic? With the pre-contract negotiations well underway for Kieran Tierney to come back to Celtic in the summer, unless a late loan deal, which has been suggested by certain people within the media, have said that it looks like if there's going to be any late deal, it will be for him to go on loan, which I think is a bit of a weird one. But with him returning, and Davy Moyes, who's been mentioned with the Celtic job a good few times, and I thought Davy Moyes getting the Celtic job, it would have been interesting to say the least, but he does return to Everton after Sean Dyche gets sacked, which is interesting. Anyway, thank God we didn't go for Moyes, said Joseph. Moyes was a success at Everton, and that's why you got the Manchester United job. You have to remember, anybody that took over, I mean, we're just filling time here, I'm sorry if it's not Celtic content that you're after, but well, it is, because David Moyes has been linked with Celtic that many times. But David Moyes took over at Manchester United. Anybody that took over straight after Fergie was always on a hiding and nothing. I mean, look at the way that Man United have went since then. They've been absolutely woeful. But Moyes, what he did at Everton all those years, he had Everton not spending any kind of money whatsoever, hardly spending big money, and they were consistently in the top six in the English Premier League. And they brought through youngsters like nobody's business at that time. Maida is pish as a winger, Baz. We need more than one coming in the door. The Kings go nowhere. The Kings not even at Celtic anymore. Do not say that Kyogo is the king. Kyogo will never be the king. Right? Never let that coming out your lips again. You can never ever say that Kyogo is anywhere near Larsson-esque. Not a chance. Keep Davy Moyes as far away from Celtic. 11 years with Everton won nothing, says Joe Docherty. I'm not talking about him coming to Celtic, I'm just talking about the fact that he's went back to Everton. And when you think about what he achieved at Everton, a lot of managers can be in the English Premier League but never have the longevity or achieve the consistently high position that Davy Moyes did with Everton, and spending nothing. Anyway, I'm 200% behind Philip Clement. Baz, you've offended Basil. Who's Basil? I'm not even reading, I can't even see the comments. Anyway, right, and more Celtic news. I need to close some of these windows down. We've done that one. That one. We are waiting on Celtic putting an update out. They're not putting an update out just yet. They should be at the stadium, I would have thought, to get in for the hordes of buses that head over the bridge. Well, Em's even get a pint up there today. They will, because it's a Saturday. It's the first Saturday game that we've had up there in a long time, isn't it? I preferred it when it was a 3 o'clock kick-off on a Saturday up in Dingwall. It was always a great one. I should usually jump onto Facebook and see what the guys are saying that are already up there. Let's see if I could see what buses are heading up. Rafts. Seen a lot of snow up that way. Oh. Fuck me, we've got a cold spell coming. People are laughing at Rangers have put out an advert for a marketing manager. Rather unfortunate, isn't it? There's a lot of radio silence going on this morning. Who cares about that? Headlines out there. Brendan Rodgers confirms the 3rd January exit. Chris Sutton delivers empathetic response to Philip Clement's bizarre comments on Celtic resources. The ex-Celtic boss brings controversial pictures. Oh, James McCarthy. Wait a minute. James McCarthy's been spotted. We read this article. James McCarthy, who completely disappeared from Celtic, has been spotted at Hamilton Accies promoting their 3rd kit. I want a picture of it. Oh yes, there's a picture. Oh my god. James, we need to get this up. Hamilton Accies they've found James McCarthy. We need to get this up to show you Celtic fans, because the whole McCarthy thing is it's wow. There we have physical evidence that James McCarthy is alive and kicking. Ooh, oh, jeez. Browse. Are you ready for this? Are you ready for this picture of James McCarthy? There we go. Promoting the new 3rd choice top is ex-players Sam Forrest in the late 1960s and James McCarthy. James McCarthy, who went missing in action. Yep, the 10th of January, yesterday. Oh my god, there he is. There's the man. Whatever happened? Where? How? When? So many questions. So many questions to ask James McCarthy. Has he hung up his boots completely? Anyway, there's the evidence that James McCarthy is alive and well. We knew he was alive and well, but that's a strange one, isn't it? Maybe Cy Ferry can get him on. Maybe try and get a message to Cy Ferry and say, get James McCarthy on. Get James McCarthy on. Oh, Jesus. Kit looks like it was a washing machine accident. Yep, it just says ex-players, lol. Oh, jeez, where's Wally been binned for his favourite? Any Bucky in that picture? You cannot say that James McCarthy had a drinking problem. Jesus, you can't say things like that. Lorna's still on holiday. In the Maldives, I believe it is, isn't it, Lorna? The Maldives. McCarthy is also for the late 1960s. Yeah. But anyway, there is the factual evidence that James McCarthy was spotted in Hamilton. Oh my goodness. I hope Cy Ferry does get him on. If anyone knows Cy Ferry that watches this channel, tell me to get him on. And say, look, what happened with you at Celtic? James McCarthy was actually at Celtic longer than Cy Ferry. Weirdly enough, Cy Ferry didn't kick a ball for Celtic either, did he? But anyway, that's enough of that nonsense. But there again, there is one and only James McCarthy. He looks the exact same as he did the day that he walked through the door at Celtic Park. I hope he writes a book or something. He must have intel on someone at Celtic or something. Anyway, that's him signed a 10-year contract. Yeah. Cy Ferry, interpreter for Neds. Cy Ferry's the interpreter for Neds. You can't be saying that about Cy Ferry, Jesus. I have no idea how he managed to make it so big on YouTube. He's a good lad. He's got all the contacts. As an ex-player, he's got all the contacts. If somebody like me tries to get ex-players onto to do interviews, the ex-players turn around and say, how much am I getting paid for it? And that's the way the ex-players are. Ferry by name. Seriously, that kit is like Steps Toes underwear. Can't even say that. Oh my God. I didn't even want to get close in on the kit. Oh dear. I wonder, I know a player that used to play for Hamilton and back in the day. I've never spoke to him for a while. Played for Hearts as well. He had some stories about the time when he played for Hearts, especially being Catholic. Yeah, that's a story and a half. Love it representing. Who the fuck is that? Lol. It's me, Kaiser. Hey, are you on about this man? Yep. Spotted. Promoting the new third choice at Hamilton Accies yesterday. Look, the 10th of January 2025. It's not an illusion. We have found James McCarthy at last. We have found him. I'll make this a bit more. Let's get it right into the screen. Oh, that's not going to work, is it? James McCarthy, there you go. How to kill time on a Celtic channel. It's just by showing everyone pictures of James McCarthy took yesterday, the 10th of January 2025. Jesus. And anyway, move on for that. And in more Celtic news this morning, even though we're still Celtic make contact with Kyogo replacement as January title race heats up. Kyogo replacement, this is saying interesting. There's no way is this guy coming in as a striker. This is the Express just making up nonsense stories. The guy's a winger. Right. Celtic made contact with Kyogo replacement as January transfer race heats up. This is by Charlie Gordon. Charlie, you know you're talking shite. Anyway, exclusive. Celtic are looking to revamp. It's not an exclusive. Brendan Rodgers told everyone in the media that there's ongoing conversations, and he also laughed off suggestions that Celtic were about to sell Kyogo to America. There's no chance of that happening this transfer window. But he's put it down as an exclusive. Celtic are looking to revamp their attacking options. Celtic have made contact with Matthias Kidsforgarden camp since the start of January, and they're looking to try and bring in Kidsforgarden. Oh, it's a different one this time. Is Kidsforgarden the ultimate replacement for Kyogo? It's unlikely the Hoops will swoop for Kidsforgarden in the winter window unless Kyogo Furiashi leaves the club. But with the MS side Atlanta United strongly linked with Kyogo, it remains a possibility. And I'm going to say that we'll buy who we buy when we want to buy it, not because Kyogo is sold. We will buy in a striker before Kyogo is sold. Kidsforgarden's been on Celtic radar for 18 months, says the article. He's been in sparkling form this season and made it even more attractive. The 22-year-old has hit 10 goals and laid on 4 assists in 15 Super League games. So that's not a bad return, but Kyogo's a bit more prolific when he's on his game. Express Sports, I never believe the word this paper says, understands that clubs from England and Germany are also interested in Kidsforgarden's situation. Brøndby would prefer to keep a hold of the top scorer until the end of the season, but January's sale has not been written off by the hierarchy. The Danish football club said, we want to have a strong team, which means we want to hold on to our best players. We also want to be successful at the end of the season and beyond. You can't always control how much what is happening. And if you don't know what offers are going to come in, Kidsforgarden has been steadily improving season after season. Celtic have been linked with the player over the last 3 summers. He's already smashed his career goals best with 14 in 22 matches across all competitions. The youngster who earned caps at under 21 level with Denmark, is open to leaving Brøndby. It would be great if an offer came from outside, he told Bold in November. If you're dreaming of leaving at some point, I enjoy every second that I'm here. Kidsford Gardens' immediate future is still likely to boil down whether a spot opens up at Parkhead, with one of the suitors, one striker looking to leave. Could be Kyogo. Rodgers confirmed that Kyogo will be in contention to play against Ross County today, because he said, I know that Kyogo's here because I seen him get on the bus. That's right. Brendan Rodgers saw Kyogo get on the bus, and he's not in America, and he's not travelling to America. He saw him with his own eyes get on the bus and take his seat whilst they get ready to head up to Ross County yesterday. I can guarantee you that he's on the coach, says Brendan Rodgers yesterday. Travelling to Ross County is certainly not in America. It's that period of time where there's always speculation around players, and especially good players that we have at Celtic. So I'm sure it will continue over the next couple of weeks. Celtic have prioritised a new winger in January. We spoke about that this morning. An absolutely nothing article. We know the interest for Kidsford Garden. That is nothing new. It's been there for a while. So this geezer, Charlie Gordon, putting this as an exclusive. Exclusive. It's not an exclusive. You're talking shite. Honestly, why do the media need to just fucking... Anyway, that's paid hacks for you. 100%, mate. Hope it doesn't happen with Tierney. He comes in, big wage, gets injured. A bit of shame for both parties. Kieran Tierney's only going to be on 35 grand a week. That's not a big wage. You know, Scott Brown was on more than 35 grand a week when he hung up his boots. The internet's a hit or a miss. If you love the meltdowns, clap your hands. You're absolutely sadist. If you love your meltdowns, clap your hands. If you love... have we got a left back in yet? No, we don't. We don't have a left back in as yet. But what we do have is we've got 10 minutes spare, and I think, yes, it's that time again. For a little 10-minute period, we need to have a little bit of a laugh and a little bit of a cheer up, I think, this morning.
Looked at the last 4 away games and thought the return would be so poor, but I'm looking forward to the therapy. I think I saw somebody talking about that in the chat, and as much as it's not pleasurable, it's good to speak with like-minded people, and we can chew the fat on what's going on.
Yeah, speaking of therapy, I think I might need some after last night's showing. Right, we'll start off with the team sheet, Billy. What were your thoughts when you kind of saw the team in the line? Then were you expecting changes?
Just with a different personnel, with Eggman up top.
Yeah, absolutely. And looking at the start itself, then I think we looked midfield.
Where did they find these people?
Absolutely ripped a new one.
The problem, the players aren't good enough to score enough goals against these teams. But that's not the only thing, because you're then, as we were saying, we were easy to play through last night. I mean, I just looked up the stats that Cammy was talking about.
And Kev, just kind of carry on with what Billy was talking about, the stats there. We had one more.
There's always one called Billy, isn't there? They've got to have somebody called Billy on the show. I mean, somebody called Billy. Who's going? Just nah, my name's not Billy. Just fucking it's Billy for the show, right? It's Billy.
Sure. Dundee had a higher XG than us.
Attackers that we seemed to put on last night, I feel
million on Diomande was to do, but it's last night was a new low, to be honest with you. But we've got 3 home games in a week, so
hey!
at least small positives there.
Some respite. Interesting point from William here.
The title, you do know that the title race will be back on. They sound dull as Paul Baird. I don't know where they find them, honestly, but as they grab them and they're crawling out the sewers, I think so. My God, posh sounding hun. I don't think it's a posh sound. I don't know where they find them. You do know that with the 3 home games that they do have, the title race will be back on.
Here as well, actually, Billy. So, yes, getting the ball wide and cutting it back.
Just that, maybe Hibs were a wee bit more open than Dundee had been. So it was noticeable that, by its absence, that there was no players really available to take advantage of any cutbacks. As we don't get it if it's up the other end. But with the Hibs penalty the weekend, I was a wee bit worried. Because you see it in real time and you maybe don't be like, eesh. But again, I don't believe it was a penalty. But
they're always on about penalties,
If I'm honest, I think that there'd have been earlier changes I would have made in the first half.
Anonymous. So I think if Hadji's to play,
they tweaked a little bit of the the formation and kept Hadji on because.
Where has McCausland been? Again, you're just throwing on attackers for
to the wasting money. If we're spending 10, 12, 15 million pound on players, these guys should be the game changers, the players that we have building our team. But the manager knows as much as he can talk about.
They're shite.
The board are 200% behind me, which did irritate me because you can only be 100% behind something. You can't be 200% behind it.
Or you could be liquidated and not be the same club. You can't be liquidated and be the same club. That's right. You can't be liquidated and the same club. You can't be 200% behind something. You can only be 100%. So there you go. So you're not the same club.
But it's been one of those days where you're just picking holes at everything. But game by game, that's effectively where Philip Clement is at this moment.
Yeah, and I think we're talking about pressure. We're talking about kind of fans being at the end of their tether.
I'm going to say something. I reckon I've been to Ibrox more than the 4 of these guys put together, and that's saying something. I reckon I've been to that many away games at Ibrox over the years. I've more than likely been in more games at Ibrox than the 4 of these geezers put together. Anyway, that's enough of that nonsense. More than enough of that nonsense. The Huns are morons. Yeah, they are that. What a difference a day makes. Yep. That's the new Rangers do a lot of moaning. Yeah, they do. The new Rangers do a lot of moaning. Anyway, let's get a little update on that. Oh, there's James McCarthy's actually making more headlines. James McCarthy, there's more headlines coming out with James McCarthy pictured out of exile. Let me just do transfers. 11 players who nearly joined Celtic. 11 Rangers players who nearly joined Celtic. Well, what a poor article to oh my God! This is the Daily Record. I don't even know what they're trying to get out of this one, but this is an article. We're just 11 Rangers players who nearly joined. Come on! Who nearly joined Celtic, including an Ibrox hero who would have jumped at Parkhead move. First, Kirk Broadfoot. Not a chance. Kirk Broadfoot wasn't even. Nobody at Celtic went in for Kirk Broadfoot. Kyle Lafferty. No, he didn't. Not a load of nonsense. Not a chance. Kyle Lafferty was never on the radar. Nacho Novo was never on the radar of Celtic. Vladimir Weiss was never on the. He was never on the radar at Celtic. Seaman, he's went on to say Celtic came in for me first, but when Rangers came in, fucking not a chance. Antti Niemi. Oh Jesus! Oh my God! Really? Oh. Kevin Thompson. Yes, Kevin Thompson was on the radar at Celtic. When Celtic went after Scott Brown and Tomo, but Tomo went to Ibrox and we got the good one, because let's face it, Tomo's career at Ibrox was shite, so that was the only one so far. Joe Aribo, not a chance, and was heavily linked with Celtic in 2019. Ben Davies, nope, not Ben Davies. I can't remember him being linked with Celtic. I just think they're making stuff up now. And who else did they say that was linked with? Billy Dodds was never linked with Celtic. He revealed he came close to signing for Celtic twice before Div Africa came in and lured him up. What a load of nonsense. What a load of nonsense. There's another one. John Bomber Brown came close to signing for Celtic. They're just making it up, aren't they? Neil McCann was never on Celtic radar. Even though he grew up a Celtic fan and he's a Tim. Neil McCann is a Tim, and his family's all one of us. But McCann went to the dark side. I don't think there was ever any chance of him. What an absolute load of nonsense, honestly. Jesus. Who else? Ali McCoy. Oh, Jesus. He signed a pre-contract with us and they went to Liverpool bars. Yep. Just saw a video of the team bus arriving, and Kyogo's definitely there. It's even better. That Genoto's over, guys. It's called No Thanks. It is that. So the team bus has arrived at the ground. I'm just going to jump onto the land of Twitter. And why is the internet going slow? Slow all of a sudden. Let me just do. Just another update with the Kieran Tierney situation. Bernabe, 5 million. Oh, the pitch looks a bit cold. Chris Sutton's just put a picture out of the pitch. Chris Sutton, half an hour ago, has just put a picture out of the pitch. I'll get this one up. It does look a bit cold, the pitch, doesn't it? The underground heating doesn't seem to be working that well. Hopefully it thaws out a little bit, because it's not going to be a good game. It's not going to be a good game of football today. Let me just get you this picture of the pitch that Chris Sutton has just put up on the land of Twitterati. This is a picture from half an hour ago up in Dingwall. I don't think it'll get called off, but as long as that pitch isn't hard, as long as that pitch isn't rock solid, I would imagine that the game will go ahead. Chris Sutton says, game of the day, freezing in the Highlands, Ross County versus Celtic, live on Sky Sports at 12 noon. And then it could be 1918. Has anybody asked them? It's not going to get called off when it's this close. No way. It's -6 currently in Dingwall. Did they put the underground heating on? Pitch doesn't look too bad. Get yourself to D's for a hot pie and a coffee, pal. Few forecasting, the pitch looks frozen. It wouldn't be frozen. There's one thing, I'll not be getting watered. There's one thing for sure. Is the game on? People asking if the game is on. There it is, Chris Sutton.
Now, they're the form team in the league in the last 4 games. How tricky a test will this be for Celtic?
That'll be a really tricky test because of Ross County's recent form, 10 points out of the last 12, and I think they're 2 points off the top 6, so that they'll be looking to jump into the top 6. But Celtic, in fairness to Celtic, they bounced back after the Rangers defeat, a couple of wins, comfortable wins. Got a few issues with injuries in wide areas today, so it'll be interesting to see how Brendan Rodgers shapes up. But he knows he's in for a game. It's absolutely freezing.
It's absolutely freezing.
You mentioned the likes of Kuhn, Maeda. They might be out. Is that awkward for Brendan Rodgers? Do you have a few decisions to make?
Yeah, I think so. And Lewis Palmer, I think he's had a family bereavement, so that's a loss. Yang will, I suspect Yang will start. I am really cold, and that'll be interesting to see whether McCowan plays off a wide area. Adam Ida's played in a wide area in the past for Norwich City and Kyogo. So I mean, look, maybe it'll be a change of shape and he goes with a 4-4-2. I suspect not, but Celtic will just have to make do. And at this stage of the season for Celtic, they're well clear, but it's just win anyhow you can, and on to the next one.
The last time they played against Ross County at Celtic Park, they were 5-0 up at half-time. But here it was a late goal to win 2-1.
It's always late
Is that
goals.
the type of game that Ross County need to make it today? A really tight and tough game?
Yeah, look, I think they'll set up and they'll defend deep and then try and counter. That'll be their game plan that's worked in recent games for them. I don't think they're overly bothered about possession, but they're making a good fist of it. Under Don Cowie this season, it's so tight from that middle area to 11th place. St Johnstone are cut adrift at the bottom, and Roy McGregor and Don Cowie and Ross County will want a season where they sort of try and move up the table and not in not near the bottom and having that sort of playoff to stay in the league.
It is so tight. Do you think at any point they start looking up and thinking, you never know, it's tight for the top six, or is it just a case of survival, avoid that playoff at least?
I think it's one of those, Luke, where it's literally game to game. Just focus on the next game. They're in a brilliant run of form. In a way, they needed that run to really kickstart their season and fire them up. But they'll come into this game full of confidence. They'll know that they're up against Celtic, and they'll have to have a perfect game plan. But because of recent results, winning away at Kilmarnock last time out, that was really impressive. And no, as I say, they'll be pretty confident.
I can see you're really cold, so I'm going to keep asking you questions. What do you make of the pitch?
Well, the pitch is all right. I mean, the weather's cold, but the pitch is good. And I suppose there's always that concern, but the underfloor's worked well, and we're told it's going to go ahead. So good.
Good.
I can't wait to be in the studio. In fact,
Good. Perfect. You've heard it from Chris Sutton himself. The pitch is fine. The game will go ahead. We've heard it from the horse's mouth from Chris Sutton standing on the sidelines. Standing on the sidelines. I'm actually going to get this one up on 2. I wonder if I can. 2 seconds. I'm going to try and do this. In fact, I've not got time for that because the teams have just been announced. Schmeichel, Johnston, Cameron Carter-Vickers, Austin Trusty, Greg Taylor, Callum McGregor, Arnie Engels, Rio Hitati, Yang, Kyogo and Adam Ida. Kyogo starts out in the wing, Adam Ida goes through the middle. On the bench is Greg Taylor. That's not right. What? 2 Taylors. There's 2 Taylors. There must be another Taylor because there's Scales on the bench, McCowan's on the bench, Kenny's on the bench, Johnny Kenny is on the bench, Alexandro Bernardo is on the bench, Montgomery is on the bench, Cummings is on the bench, Daniel Cummins is on the bench. Wow, massive one for Celtic, bringing Daniel Cummins in from the cold. Daniel Cummins is on the bench for Celtic today. Wow, and Tony Ralston is also on the bench. Let me get this team up because that is big news. Celtic. Daniel Cummins, who has not signed a new contract with Celtic, has made the journey up. Now, is that through pure necessity by Brendan Rodgers? Is that through pure necessity to get players that we need on just on the bus, even on the bus? Let me just get this so it's the same size, and then put it into there, and just get rid of this. I just need to round the corners, position back slightly. And there we go, looks like a phone. Download that, and then we'll get the team up on the screen so you can all see the team. And then just give me another second and I will get the players that are on the bench. So that is, people are right. Looks like he is going to go with Kyogo on the wing. Looks like he will go with Kyogo on the wing. Right, let's get this up onto the front overlay. Browse. Oh, fuck off. And I've cocked up, but I'll put it up anyway, just whilst I'm talking. And you'll see the team there. Schmeichel, Johnson, and whilst I sort that. And I sort the background. Schoolboy era. trying to rush things too much. But that is the team. Schmeichel, Johnson, Carter Vickers, Trusty, Taylor, McGregor, Engels, Hatate, Yang, Kyogo and Adam Ida. Adam Ida looks like he will start. Will Adam Ida start out on the wing, or will Kyogo start out on the wing? That's the big question that Celtic fans will be asking this morning, is which of the two Celtic players will be playing out on the wing for Celtic today. Let me go on to here. And then we can get consistency is key for trip up north. Come on, Celtic, you've not even got the fixtures yet on your on the website. How is it with Celtic sometimes? Let me just do this. Try and update this. Anyway, the subs are Sinisalo, Taylor, Scales, McCowan, Kenny, Bernardo, Montgomery, Cummings and Tony Ralston on the bench. It's a strong squad. There's not too much changes in the squad, which is going into a game like this. You know, it is at least. Hopefully see Kenny get a bit of game today. Yep. Taylor starting. What the fuck? Well, there's two Taylors. Baz, where's the team? It's behind the comments, Baz. You shouldn't be behind because the team is on the screen. The team is on the screen. It's not bad. Just get the job done. I'm up here and it's freezing. Alex Baye doesn't even make the bet. There has to be. They've got two Taylors. They've got another Taylor on the bench. Alex Baye isn't even on the bench. I hope that Celtic have made a mistake with that one, because is there another youth guy in the squad called Taylor? I mean, they've got Schmeichel, Johnson, Carter Vickers, Trusty, Taylor, McGregor, Engels, Hatate, Yang, Kyogo, Adam Ida. I'm hoping that Celtic they've got another Taylor on the bench. Now, is it either Taylor on the bench or is it Alex Baye on the bench? Nothing like Celtic to make a cock-up. Let me just refresh this. Starting 11 to face Ross County has been confirmed by the Celtic Weds. Yeah, it's another Taylor. This is taken right for the Celtic website. So there's no Alex Baye. There's no Alex Baye today. Has he pulled up with a little bit of an injury? But there is someone else called Taylor. So there's two Taylors. Just what we really need in our life is two Greg Taylors. And there's the subs along the bottom of the screen now. So yeah, I'm glad that the midfield is kind of staying the same. I thought Luke McCowan might have stayed on the pitch, but he's went with Hatate and Arnie Engels. He's bringing Hatate in the middle, back into the middle of the field. I think it's more a game for Luke McCowan than Rio Matati. But we'll see. I do expect the manager to make quite a lot of changes in this game. It's never an easy game up in Dingwall, but the fact that Johnson, Carter Vickers, Trusty and Taylor all start, you're going to say that that's a pretty formidable defence. And the defence is never usually too worried when we go up to Dingwall. It's always the case of they sit back and then try and hit us on the break. We're usually defensively solid enough up in Dingwall, but it's the lack of goals that generally comes up when we are away. The subs are Sinisalo, Taylor, I don't know who the other Taylor is, Scales, McCowan, and then Johnny Kenny makes his bench return for Celtic, Alexandro Bernardo and Montgomery makes the bench. Also, young Daniel Cummins makes the bench. Daniel Cummins will be wanting to try and make an impact. And will there be a change? Has Daniel Cummins had a change of mind? Will Daniel Cummins have signed a new contract for Celtic? Will Celtic come out and say it? Or is it just the fact that we have Ohm going away on loan? Odom Ohm maybe would have been on the bench. And is this Brendan Rodgers telling the young guys, look, we're 15 points ahead now, it's in our control, I'm going to start bringing you into the team and bringing you into game time? Is this Brendan Rodgers bleeding the young guns for the future? Is he being really sensible here? And maybe he's saying, look, it's a away game, it's up at Ross County, it's going to be a cold bus trip up there. It's going to be a cold day. Alex Baye and Taylor. Baye is playing, well, no, he's not, according to this. That's straight off of Twitter. So unless Celtic have changed their Twitter and made a mistake, Alex Baye is not playing. Well, Celtic have now changed it. Fucking typical Celtic. Alex Baye is playing. Oh, Celtic have changed. See, Celtic are I knew they'd made a mistake. There was 2 Taylors, and I'm like, there's a Taylor on the bench. So Celtic have just updated it. So give me a second. Celtic are at it. Celtic are completely at it. Unbelievable, Celtic. You scoundrels, you. Absolute scoundrels. I'll get this one up. I knew there was a mistake. But anyway, they've changed it on Twitter. They have changed it on Twitter. Finally. Celtic do try you sometimes, don't they? Upload it. I'm like, how's there 2 Taylors? There's a cock-up been made somewhere. The fact that there was 2 Taylors on the pitch. Let me just get this on here. Take that out of there. Do this and bring this down here. Position backwards. Around the corners. For that, and then put. Oh, damn. So Celtic, it's not like Celtic to make a cock up, but they did on that occasion. They had everyone a little bit confused, but then they've changed it and got Alex Baye on the field of play. So Alex Baye starts, Greg Taylor does not, and that's an interesting one. Make sure that I've got transparent, and then I'll get the new one up. Those pesky people at Celtic. Front screen overlay. Had us all worried about the fact there was 2 Taylors, and I'm like, how's there 2 Taylors? There isn't 2 Taylors. There's the full team, and Alex Baye has made the team. Oh, Celtic give me the fear. I'm like, how's there 2 Taylors? There's not another Taylor in the B team. But anyway, Celtic have corrected their mistake. Oh, Jesus. We saw the post, delete Mr. Celtic. Good to see Cummins on the bench, Keogho's on the wing, McCown on the bench is criminal. Taylor was starting, isn't it now? People have got screenshots of Celtic having the 2 Taylors. People, including myself, have got screenshots of the 2 Taylors. Taylor wasn't starting. Taylor was starting now, isn't? Yep. I'm going to repost that. So there. That was so disrespectful to Greg Taylor. I saw the original 2 Taylors. See? I've got to love it when Celtic are called out. Big fan of your work, Mr. Celtic. Valuable. Kenny and Cummins on the bench. Good to see. Hopefully we'll be able to produce something excellent. Taylor at left back. Taylor in midfield. Taylor on the bench. 5-0 to Greg Taylor. At least the Celtic fans have seen the funny side of it. And obviously the guys in the backroom staff at Celtic having a little bit of a senior moment by having 2 Taylors. They're having a team of Greg Taylors just to get the Celtic fans really going for the game, weren't they? Just to get the Celtic fans really going. But anyway, I was trying to get Chris Sutton. I was trying to get Chris Sutton on our screens because Chris Sutton's obviously up there and he is ready for the game today. So let me just do this and add this. Browser. Source. Let me just interact with that. 2 seconds. Do this. Interact. I wonder if I can get that to come down a bit. There we have Chris Sutton. Let me just.
Issues with injuries in wide areas today, so it'll be interesting to see how Brendan Rodgers shapes up. But he knows he's in for a game. It's absolutely freezing, isn't it?
I could tell. You mentioned the likes of Kuhn, Maeda. They might be out. Is that awkward for Brendan Rodgers? You have a few decisions to make.
Yeah, I think so. And Lewis Palmer, I think he's had a family bereavement, so that's a loss. Yang will, I suspect Yang will start. I am really cold, and that'll be interesting to see whether McCowan plays off a wide area. Adam Eda's played in a wide area in the past for Norwich City and Kyogo. So I mean, look, maybe it'll be a change of shape and he goes with a 4-4-2. I suspect not, but
no,
Celtic will just have to make do. And at this stage of the season for Celtic, they're well clear, but it's just win anyhow you can, and on to the next one.
The last time they played against Ross County at Celtic Park, they were 5-0 up at half-time, but here it was a late goal to win 2-1. Is that the type of game that Ross County need to make it today, a really tight and tough game?
Yeah, look, I think they'll set up and they'll defend deep and then try and counter. That'll be their game plan that's worked in recent games for them. I don't think they're overly bothered about possession, but they're making a good fist of it. Under Don Cowie this season, it's so tight from that middle area to 11th place. St Johnstone are cut adrift at the bottom, and Roy McGregor and Don Cowie and Ross County will want a season where they sort of try and move up the table and not in not near the bottom and having that sort of playoff to stay in the league.
It is so tight. Do you think at any point they start looking up and thinking, you never know, it's tight for the top six, or is it just a case of survival, avoid that playoff at least?
I think it's one of those, Luke, where it's literally game to game. Just focus on the next game. They're in a brilliant run of form. In a way, they needed that run to really kickstart their season and fire them up. But they'll come into this game full of confidence. They'll know that they're up against Celtic, and they'll have to have a perfect game plan. But because of recent results, winning away at Kilmarnock last time out, that was really impressive. And no, as I say, they'll be pretty confident.
I can see you're really cold, so I'm going to keep asking you questions here. What do you make of the pitch?
Well, the pitch is all right. I mean, the weather's cold, but the pitch is good. And I suppose there's always that concern, but the underfloor's worked well, and we're told it's going to go ahead. So good. I can't wait to be in the studio. In fact.
There you go, that's Chris Sutton talking about the game today. And then Celtic put out a team of Greg Taylor. Celtic did put out on Twitter, they had Greg Taylor on the bench and they had Greg Taylor starting the game. And some cheeky Celtic fans have put on Twitter, they put, just have a Greg Taylor left back, Greg Taylor midfield, Taylor on the bench, 5-0 Taylor hat-trick. And big shout out to God, I'm going to retweet that one because that's quality. Another afternoon of Yang embarrassing himself. Nice change, admin. A lot of people are commenting on the fact that Greg Taylor did make the starting lineup allegedly. At least you got it right this time, admin. AJ should do what Ralston has done to himself, has done it before. I feel for McCowan, but Calmac knows how to stay on a mission. Look, McCowan is a player that I thought may have got started today, but when you look at that bench, the bench is a strong bench, and hopefully this is the turning point of the season where some of these young players can get bled into the Celtic team, and the ones for the future can start getting some game time at Celtic. The fact that Taylor, Scales, McCowan are all on the bench. Young Johnny Kenny comes into the Celtic team for the first time as Paulo Bernardo is back on the bench. Young Montgomery comes in also. He's a fantastic little player. Daniel Cummins makes the bench. Will that make him change his mind and sign a contract? And Tony Ralston, who is forever on the Celtic bench, because let's face it, he can't get past Alistair Johnston. The team that has been called up to play today, and correctly this time, I am going to put on the screen. I am going to put on the screen the other one, just to show you that I wasn't going completely mad. What image is that? Image 2. What one's that? Let me just change this. So this was the original team that Celtic did put up. And as you could see, Celtic cocked up. They had Taylor on the team, and they had Taylor also on the bench. I wasn't seeing things, and I was like, there's two Taylors. How was there two Taylors? So Celtic did cock up, but the admin finally got it right and went, oh, shit. Can you imagine Brendan Rodgers sitting looking at his phone and went, you've got one job. You do have one job, and it's just to put the team that I tell you up on the screen. And you've got Taylor playing everywhere. Yes, Taylor played absolutely everywhere. Anyway, give me your score predictions in that lineup. Give me your score predictions. Montgomery and Frame are excellent left backs. The young Montgomery, he's one to watch. That window into an alternative timeline. Is that window into an alternative? Yeah, I think so. I think that was a window into a timeline of just where Greg Taylor's in control of the universe. Yang never goes down the line, always cuts inside. Hope County have the changing room heating on for the boys. Yep, Alex Baye could play on the wing. Also, Ralston at left back. Well, that is the team that Alex Baye is playing in his normal position. Alex Baye starts. Paolo Bernardo is not Alexandro Bernardo. Jesus, it's Alex. Do you know what? It's just all over the place. Celtic have just done nothing but confuse us this morning. Confuse me. Right, I am going to go for Ross County 1, Celtic 2. I'm going to go with Ross County 1, Celtic 2. I think it's going to be a tight affair today. Vincent O'Brien's going for Ross County 3-1. For Celtic, Yant to score, says Ian Roy. I don't even know who Yant is, but he'll be on about Yang. Alex Baye to score, 2-0 Celtic. John Payne's going for 3-0 Celtic. Parkhead Boys going for 4-0. James McCarthy double, and Liam Scales to score twice. Oh, Jesus. Carly, Stephen Kelly's going for 3-1 Celtic. Carly's going for 2-0 Celtic. Gary D's going for 2-0 today also. Always cock up, told you Baz. 12-0. Oh, Jesus. Honestly. Let's just hope there's no more cock-ups, and that was it. Celtic got it out of the way by confusing us all that we're going to have a team of Greg Taylors. Mobley says it's going to be 3-0. Spaces says 3-0 Celtic. Anglin Ayrshire, he reckons it'll be 3-1. Ida double. Engels gets one as well. No Kyogo scoring today? I think Kyogo's due a goal. Alan Stevenson's going for 3-0. Martin K is going for 3-0 Celtic. Big Des is going for 3-0 Celtic. Liam's going for 3-0 Celtic. Pubcat's going for 1-0. Hard fought 1. Irishman in Porto, our resident TV camera guy, is going for 3-0 Celtic. Martin, hope Ida gets a goal today. Dave Morton's going for 3-1 Celtic. Kaiser's going for 4-0 the Hoops. We skate past the Frozen Kingdom. Skate past in the Frozen Kingdom. It'll be. There's a lot of players came out from cold storage to play in the Frozen Kingdom today. That's for sure. A lot of players that have came out of cold storage that play in the B team. Well, they've got the bus trip up last night, and they'll be thinking, oh, this is the quality of life, man. Wee bus journey with your mates. No swally though. No gear, no swally, no spliffs. Just all your mates up to Dingwall. Stay at the hotel in the night. No getting mad wet. In bed for the back of 10. Good night's sleep. And then play football in the freezing cold. To sit on the bench and brass my arse off. Anyway, 5-1, Taylor to score from every position in the park, says Richards. Yep, Taylor to come on and just play a whole team of Taylors. Jake Brendan Rodgers was maybe just taking the piss there. He should have put every single player as Taylor. Just put that out just to confuse the hell out of the fans, just to piss them off. Anyway, it wouldn't surprise me if Mr. Dumbelly's name appeared on the team sheet. Brendan Rodgers just having a little bit of a laugh. Richard says 5-1 to Celtic, Taylor to score from every position. Donald Mackey, that's a very Highland name. Donald Mackey, 2-0 Celtic. That is a very apt name for the fact that we're playing so far up north today. Donald Mackey. Can't get much more north name than that, can you? Donald is going for 2-0 Celtic. Ian Roy is going for 3-0. Chris Carson's going for 5-0. A lot of people are going for a clean sheet today, away from home. I'm thinking that we may... will it be 2-1 or 2-0? You've got me thinking. Lavina Scott is going for 2-0 the boys. Deborah is going for 7-0. Deborah thinks there's going to be a high scoring goal today. Not sure of the score, but I think Taylor will score, says RGL 67. After that's going to make the headlines tomorrow. That will make the headline. In fact, it's probably made the Celtic headlines just now. Taylor starts in 2 positions. Taylor starts on the bench. Taylor starts on none of the Celtic sites have even got their stuff up yet. Oh, that's because I'm on the wrong page. Team news: Rangers make changes as Taylor drops out with the new look bench. Team Kyogo and Adam Ida start up. Tottenham and Celtic looking to battle for Irish wonder kid. Mason. I can't see Celtic ever signed in someone called Mason. But anyway, Ross County, it's confirmed starting 11. No one's mentioned in the cock-up. Teams confirmed. Nobody's mentioned the cock-up. Celtic maybe managed to get it just out there on Twitter and cocked it up on Twitter and Twitter only. Anyway, let me get back into some of the score lines. Kaiser's going for 4-0. With all the players that have come out of cold storage from the B team. Mon the Tick Mick says it's going to be 3-1 Celtic. Carly's going for 2-0. Ida and Kyogo to score. Richard Coleman's going 5-1 to score from every position on the park. I've not read this one. Deborah's going for 7-0. She thinks it's going to be a big scoreline. Tight game, there will be one goal in it, says Green Leche. I think so. I think Deborah's maybe been on a bit schwally already. Maybe had otro más bebida. Too many drinks, yes. Tight game, 5-0 Celtic, says Alan Weir. Mikey Boy's going for 2-1 the boys. Parkhead Boy says, time to get stoned. Enjoy your day. Catch you later, Baz. Alan Weir's going for 5-2 Celtic. Mr. Quinn's going for 3-0 hard-earned victory today. Thomas, Tam Hoop 67 is going for 4-0 Celtic. Charlie Mulgrew and Kieran Tierney to score. Says Corey. Yep, Charlie Mulgrew will say and Kieran Tierney to score today from that team sheet. So they have to ask Celtic. I mean, Brendan Rodgers surely will get asked about the fake team sheet that came out. I mean, he's been going on about leakages from the team sheet, and then Celtic go and put Taylor in 2 positions, and I'm like, why is there 2 Taylors in the team? There isn't 2 Taylors even at Celtic. Taylor scores, Taylor comes off the bench, and Taylor gets a hat-trick. Taylor to save the penalty in the last minute. Taylor hat-trick, lol. What channel is the match on? It'll be on Sky, on the main Sky channel, or Celtic TV. Mickey Boy's going for 3-1 Celtic. Paul Bear says Brendan Rodgers continues with playing him on the bench as well. He had him in every position of the pitch there earlier. Carly, Dan Cassie is saying that it's going to be defensive teamwork today, and that's me all caught up. One pie van tramps. Hail, hail. It's going to be 11-1 to Taylor. Taylor scored the only goal for Ross County, and then the 11 other goals from every position. Anyway, that's all good. I'm sure you're all going to jump over to Kaiser's channel because he'll be doing the watch along. Ross County 1, Celtic 9, says Monty. Jesus, that's a high scoring game, that one. I can't see that. Taylor will be replaced by Taylor on the 60 minutes. Yang isn't a bad player, by the way. He's just a traditional winger. Brendan Rodgers wants his wingers to cut in. It's not his usual game. He's not a bad player, but when you look at the quality of the players that we have been blessed with on the wings at Celtic, he isn't up there with the best. And can you really see Yang? It's a big game for Yang, a big game for Yang, especially when Celtic have been linked with a £7 million winger to come in from Norway. Yes, a place that has many hours of darkness this time of year. Taylor injured, Kuhn and Maida could also be on the bench. They're not though. Kyogo to score 4-1, says Scotty Boy. Ida 2, Kyogo 2. And then only had one position as a sub. So what's so funny? Only had one position on as a sub. So what's so funny? John Paul Murray. The fact that when Celtic this is the team that Celtic originally put out. So anyone that didn't catch it, this is the team here. This is the team here that Celtic originally put out today. And it had Taylor on the bench, and it also had Taylor starting. And a few of us pesky people who take the screenshot straight away of the team started talking about the team, including many people on Twitter. And then Celtic quickly deleted the post and put up the correct team with Alex Bailly starting. So not only was Greg Taylor on the bench, but Greg Taylor was starting in the game. And that's why the land of Twitter has went into a little bit of funny mode, saying that Greg Taylor's just going to play in every position. Or was it the manager having a little bit of fun? Anyway, that team has gone. Yes, that team, the fake news team that Celtic put out, accidentally has gone, and Greg Taylor does have his rightful position on the pitch. Does it mean that Greg Taylor's days are numbered at Celtic? Why bring Alex Bailly in from the cold to start in such a big game? He is the only left back that we have that will convincingly still be here till the summer. Greg Taylor could be away in the next couple of days or weeks. Anyway, that's me done and dusted. I'm waiting to get ready to go down to the Hoops Bar and watch the game. I'm going down to the Hoops Bar to watch the game, so it'll be a little bit later for me doing the live, about half an hour afterwards. Taylor to drive the team bus home. Taylor, we want Taylor FC long. But as that, I'm friends with Winston for Still Game. Get him on your streams. If you are seriously mates with Winston for Still Game, get in touch with me, Dave Morton, through Facebook, and we'll get him on. Celtic have conquered human cloning projects. It's just been announced. Paul McCain's going for 5-1. Todd Miller's going for 3-1. And everyone's in meltdown. Anyway, that's me done and dusted. There's been over 1,900 people watched the video. Thank you, everyone who's watched it. I shall see you. Where's Maida? He's not playing. Do you know watch the channels beforehand? Anyway, have a fantastic day where you are. I shall see you with a reaction video after the game. It may not be immediately after the game. It may be after the 3 o'clock kickoffs. We'll wait and see, because there is other games that will be played today. On that note, have an absolutely fantastic day, Celtic fans, wherever you are. Wrap up warm, because it's really cold up in Dingwall, but wherever you are around the world, have an absolutely fantastic day.
Lit. Roll up to the party, roll up to the party, roll up to the party, roll up to the lit. Roll up to the party, roll up to the party.